take that off straight away. Hey, hi everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's time for the Wednesday class again. Basti and I were just talking about point of the week, as you do.
Always look forward to the point of the week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's a really good one this week. Look at this. Maggie and Rosso got in before I could even post today. Morning, Liz. Morning, Tara. James, Catherine, Anne. I thought what we might do today as well, Basti, is take it a little bit slower and go a little bit more internal, because
Nice.
I know that from the polls we've done in the last few weeks, I've noticed that we did a poll the other week. There was a tendency towards more deficiency, and when I've been asking questions about where do you want to work and things like that, often it's been an internal thing. So I thought we'd maybe take a little bit more time to do the tuning in and the self-regulation, and kind of map that against some of the techniques. So we do the techniques and we'll go internally each time and see how that goes as we go along. And of course, the point of the week as we go later on. Okay, fantastic.
Perfect.
Thank you, Basti. Go look after the chat and I'll get straight on. Okay, it's great to see lots of familiar names in the chat. Thank you very much for tuning in again. Just as I was saying to Basti, I think we're going to take a slightly different approach today. Take it a little bit slower on the tuning in. We won't worry so much about the burners this week. We'll go more for what's called interoception, which is feeling what's happening inside our bodies, because that's the best way for us to self-regulate. So what we'll do is we'll really take some time to tune into what's happening inside our bodies. And then as we go through the exercises, we'll use some of the ones we've used a lot before, but what we'll do is we'll reference them internally. And particularly when we get to point of the week, we can explore the relationship between the small intestine channel and the heart channel, which regulates the emotions. So I'm just going to pop this on and just rewind back to the beginning here of this bit. And if you remember, we're now in the small intestine meridian. This is between 1 and 3 in the afternoon, in the 24-hour cycle. And the function of this channel is to protect the heart, and it is used to regulate the emotions, and it kind of helps us protect ourselves from stress, emotional stress. And in fact, that's one of the roles of the yang channels. Generally, the yang channels on the outside of the body tend to be more of a protective nature, and the yin channels that are on the inside of the body, they tend to be more connected with the internal organs. So the yin channels connect with the internal organs, and the internal organs are the ones that our nervous system tunes into to kind of monitor our stress levels. So quite often we think about stress as being something in the head, or we're worried about this, whatever. But actually what happens, and they're just finding this out, by the way, in modern neuroscience, only just finding this out in the last few years, actually, there's been some new research to show that actually how we're feeling is more to do with messages that we're getting from our body that give us messages up towards our head that kind of give us a readout of how stressed we are. And so the most effective way that we can actually self-regulate is to, rather than just thinking, I'm not going to worry or whatever, is actually to tune internally using interoception, which is to tune into our body. And then we can use things like breathing and guided meditations, Shiatsu techniques, and acupressure techniques to regulate the internal organs. And then what that does is that will then send a message up to our brain to say that actually we're okay, and we can break that cycle of anxiety and stuff like that. So the deeper we can get into finding out what's happening inside our bodies, the more we can do that. So I thought we'd take some time to doing that today. And if you've got any questions as we go along, of course, just pop them in the chat and Basti will help you out one-to-one. Okay, here we go. So let's do the scanning. And as I say, we're going to forget about the burners just for 1 week. And we're going to go deeper into the actual whole body scanning, which is basically interoception. I'm going to take it a little bit slower, and I'll do it standing up. You can actually do it lying down as well. Lying down is good as long as you don't go to sleep. Lying down is good. Sitting up is fine. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to do it standing up. And we're going to go a little bit slower and, as I say, map our internal body landscape. So let's go. I'm going to just see what it looks like. Stand up here. Yeah, this is cool. Okay, great. Okay, so here we go. You should have your piece of paper ready because we're going to do a drawing of our internal body energy when we finish. Let's just take a little bit more time this time to do the whole body scan. And we're going to go through more internally the structures of the body. You'll notice that I'm going to emphasize mainly tuning into the internal organs, as well as the external parts of the body. And then we can kind of work on them. I've got some polls later for point of the week. And also I've got some polls I can run as well for where we'd like to work, so we can work from there. Okay, so you can either lie down or sit comfortably, or if you want to stand up, that's fine too. I'm just going to spend a little bit of time with interoception, looking, feeling inside our body. Okay, so are you ready? It's a good idea for us to close our eyes, because you'll notice that if you close your eyes, your awareness tends to go into your body. Now we're going to take the sense of hearing and we're going to turn that inwards. So you can hear my voice obviously coming out, and you can probably hear some voices of people in the street outside or in your house or whatever. But basically we're going to fade those more into the background and see just for a moment if you can sense any sound coming from inside your body. You might be able to feel your heart, might be able to hear your heartbeat. You might be able to hear your blood running around or anything like that going on. You may be able to hear your breath. Not just outside the body, in other words, the breathing, but if you listen carefully, you may be able to feel or hear the breath going down inside your body. So let's just do that for a second. We're just going to close our eyes, go internally, and listen out for anything in our body. Okay, very good. So you notice that by listening inside and by closing our eyes, we're already starting to go internally. So let's slowly work with the internal body structures and really get a sense of what they're like. Okay. So let's just first of all close our eyes and tune into our cranium. That's the whole skull. And I want you to see if you can feel your brain actually sitting in your skull. And you can just kind of imagine that. You'll be able to feel it all around the cranium. And if we go round, we can feel internally the eyes, just to get a sense of how they're feeling. And then the sinuses, the upper sinuses around the forehead and around the cheekbones, the lower sinuses. Okay, and we're just going to internally sense the breathing passages through the nose. Just get an idea of what they're like. Okay. And we're going to go right down. We notice that we're going mainly internally here. We're still going internally into the mouth and throat. Okay. And then we're going to go down through the inside of the neck. So we've got the esophagus, okay, the whole inside of the neck there. You've got the Adam's apple and the throat all the way down. Okay. What we're noticing, sensing out if there's any obstructions or any blockages or feelings of weakness or anything that we can sense as we go down. Okay, so now we go down. Now we're into the chest cavity. This is what we normally do when we tune into the upper heater. But this time, let's be more specific and first of all tune into the sensation of the lungs. Okay, now we're listening to the breath going in and out internally. We're sensing the breath going in and out. Okay, and ask yourself, what are those lungs like? Okay, and now we can tune into the heart. You may be able to hear your heartbeat, or you may be able to feel it internally, sensing it internally. This is again interoception. Okay, just stay with that for a moment and ask yourself, what is that like? Very good. So now we're going to go bring our attention down into the diaphragm. The diaphragm is right at the base of the lungs. It's a very important structure of the body. As you breathe in, you'll feel the diaphragm moving downwards, and as you breathe out, it comes up. Okay, so if we bring our attention to the diaphragm internally, as we breathe, take a little bit of a deeper breath than normal. Sense what's happening in that area there. Okay, excellent. So we're nearly there with our internal journey. So now we're going to go down into the abdominal area here. We've got the liver and the stomach. We've got the intestines, all in this body cavity. So let's just tune into the abdominal area. And ask yourself, what is that like? Okay, and you go right down to the pelvic floor, all the way through the digestive tract. Okay, and that completes our internal introception of the internal organs and linking it with the sense organs in the head. Okay, so I'm just going to relax for a second and just remember what the main things you noticed about that introceptive journey down the inside of the body. Okay, and what I'd like to do now is just take a minute and we're going to draw the main features of that internal journey, and we're going to do them in the middle of the page here, because in a moment we're going to scan through the external part of the body, again using introception. That's going to link more with the yang channels. Okay, so I'm going to just do that right now. Just going to draw the main things I felt, and obviously if you felt any reactions, like if anything felt uncomfortable, particularly if it felt tight or painful, or just burning, or maybe it felt kind of weak, or maybe even blocked or frozen, anything like that that you can feel from your journey going down through the body. Okay, so I want to share this with you. This is my internal journey there. Look, there's a few areas there that just could do with a lot more relaxation and a little bit more opening there. Guess probably got something similar. Okay, so that's our internal introceptive journey. That's to the internal organs, and they link with the yin channels. Any Shiatsu practitioners out there? So now we're going to scan down, and we're going to go down basically the yang channels. We're going to go down through the outside structure of the body, through the neck, the shoulders, the rib cage, the back, and the hips. Do you see what I mean? So the more the external side. So let's just scan through those and see how we get on. So we're going to close our eyes now. We're going to tune in to our neck, asking ourselves what that's like. So more the back and the sides of the neck, and then down into the shoulders. Okay, and then down through the arms, down into the hands. So scanning right through the shoulders and down to the hands. And then scanning down the back. Into the hips. All the way down the back, the muscular aspects of the back, into the lumbar, into our hips, and then down through the legs to the knees, ankles, and feet. Okay, and then we're going to just take that as a whole picture. And then on the outside of this drawing, I'd like you to draw anything that particularly you noticed as we did the external scan, and then we could work from there. Okay, I'm going to run a poll. While we're just drawing that in, I'm going to put a poll in, a brand new poll. I'm going to ask you whether you felt you mainly wanted to work on the internal or the external aspects. I'm going to run a new poll for that. I'm going to write that out now. So which do you most want to work on, ? Internal or the external? So that basically the internal, that's the yin channels or the yang. Just to get an idea from the group, but I'll also put both. If it's equal, you can put both. Okay, so have a look at your drawing, and then I'm going to run this poll right now, and we'll see, okay, whether you felt you wanted to work more on the internal aspects of the organs or more on the external, or both. And it'll give us an idea of how, again, to pitch the session in a way that we haven't really done in so much detail before. Okay, look, here we go. So we've got a majority wanting to work internally, but we've also got quite a lot of people want to work both, and also on the external yang channels. Okay, right. So now what I'd like you to do now is take your picture, remember the main things that you'd like to work on, and then what we'll do is we'll monitor those things as we go through the exercises. Okay. So here we go. And we'll build it, and I'd really like to explain how point of the week also can link in with that introspective work. Okay, so we'll always go back through today and we'll reference the scanning and the body scan and the introspective process that we've just done. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so first of all, let's just clear any excess obstructions in the yang channels. Now, if you're feeling particularly tired and weak, you want to take this nice and easy and keep it really, really gentle. But what we'll do is we'll just shake out, we're going to mainly shake out the yang channels in the body, okay? So first of all, we're going to start off with the head. We're going to release the jaw, okay, by doing this. We're just going to bounce slightly, open the jaw, relaxing the throat and relaxing the neck. Imagine the head floating up. Okay, so now we're going to start shaking down the external structures from the neck down into the shoulders. We can lift the shoulders up and release them. Okay, right down to the fingertips. Okay, and then down into the whole of the back. So I'm just going to flex the back slightly here, just to ease out any tension in the back. Down into the hips. Okay, now really important here just to really loosen up and open up the hips. We're just going to bounce down. We've got the whole pelvis bouncing down, relaxing into the hips here. Okay, so this is especially important for all of you who voted mainly for releasing the external parts of the body. We're going to clear this out of the way. Once we've done that, you'll probably find it easier to tune in internally and see what's going on internally. You're going to shake out right out into the feet. Okay, excellent. So let's just brush off the yang channels. We're going to start off with the head and we're brushing down the sides of the neck, head and neck, brushing off down these yang channels which are on the outside of the body. So if you look at my body now, all that you can see is the yang channels. And the ones that run from the head, they encompass the joints and they connect basically the whole head round out into the hands and the neck. So get down the side of the body, brushing off. Okay, excellent. So now one of the most important ways that we can regulate the internal landscape of the body, because we've all felt something, or almost everyone's felt something inside that doesn't feel quite right. One of the most important ways we can do that is by directed breathing and directed imagery. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off doing some internal breathing, and then we're going to supercharge it by using some of our special points that we know really well, that can increase the kind of connection of the body to the environment. Okay, so let's start off with some guided breathing. So we're going to just, first of all, just shake out. Okay, we're going to close our eyes, and what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to pick the main place in your internal scan. Okay. And if you voted for the external, you can focus it into any external part of the body too. And we're going to use the breathing to release and relax that area. Okay. So first of all, we're just going to stand. We're going to pick just one area that we really want to change. Okay. And we're going to do 5 controlled breaths. As we bring the breath in, we imagine the breath going to that place. Okay. We hold the breath in that area, wherever it is in the body. And then as we breathe out, we're just going to allow that area to just relax and integrate itself in with the rest of that body. Okay, so are you ready? Okay, nice and easy. We're going to close our eyes. I'm scanning in. I'm picking my one area, introspectively scanning inside, finding that one area. Okay, we're going to take it nice and easy. We're going to breathe in. And we're going to send that breath to that area of the body that needs to be released or supported. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to breathe in. Okay, hold it. Our attention goes to that area and we imagine that the breath has gone to that area. Okay. And now, slow exhalation. Very good. As we breathe out, we just allow that area to relax. Okay, that was number 1. Here's number 2. Okay, again, relaxing. Breathing in. Okay, breathing out. Okay, and releasing that. It's important to keep the out breath longer because what that does is it releases the nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system. Again, that breathing out sends a message up to our brain that we're safe and everything is kind of chilled out and calm. Here we are, number 3. Okay, breathing in. And breathing out. Excellent. Number 4, nice and easy, breathing in, breathing out, keeping the breath in that area, wherever it is that you've chosen, breathing out and releasing that targeted area. Okay, very good. You can imagine if it feels weak, you can imagine the breath is supplying energy to the area, whatever you need to just work on whichever area it is that you're working on. Okay, here we are, number 5. We're going to breathe in. Okay, excellent, very well done. So now what we're going to do is take a moment just to check in again, scan again, and see whether that shifted things, and maybe you pick another area for the next exercise. So let's see, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to close my eyes, I'm re-scanning. Yeah, and sure enough, the area that I've just been breathing into feels much more integrated now. And I've got a second area from my chart that I'm going to pick for the next exercise. Okay, so now we can go a little bit deeper in, because what we're going to do is we're going to use the breath of the earth to help us calm our internal environment. Okay, and this is really important, because what happens in stress breathing is we lose that ability of the diaphragm to expand. The breathing goes up really high. That again sends a message to the brain that we're under stress, and we get into a loop of getting anxiety and stress and so on like that. So we need to break that. And one of the best ways we can do that and break that pattern out and calm everything down is stage one is to feel what's happening in our body and to connect with the breath. And using the power of Chinese medicine, what we're going to do now is we're going to get help from the earth itself, because what happens as we get more and more stressed is we lose that connection with the earth, and we tend to go like this. What we really want is this connection with the earth. We all know the best way to do that is to open up kidney 1. So let's go straight to it. We're going to open up kidney 1. The action of kidney 1 is to connect us with the yin of the earth. And so that yin, that cooling, relaxing, grounding aspect, we can incorporate that into the breathing, and we can supercharge the effect of the internal breathing exercise. Okay, so let's go straight in here with kidney 1. And we're going to open up kidney 1. Tap it if you like, just to get it really opened up and working. Here. Okay, very good. We're opening it up. A bit more tapping, I think. So what we're going to do in a moment is we're going to use that experience of the earth, or the connection with the earth, to again kind of supercharge the breathing. We're taking, getting that access, getting help from the earth, from the quality of the earth, connecting with the earth. And this is built into lots of different different systems like yoga, Tai Chi, particularly Qi Gong. It's all built into that. So let's really use that. This next stage of regulating our internal environment. Here we go. Okay, we've got kidney 1. Okay, so let's see what happens now. Excellent. Okay, so just tapping your feet on the ground a bit, and let's see what it feels like to stand up. Okay, so just checking how it feels just to stand. You'll notice that that just has a calming effect. We're really aware of kidney 1. We're much more aware of the ground beneath our feet. And by using directed breathing now, using that yin quality of the earth, we can calm them down even deeper than we did by just directing the breath. And this is how we do it, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to first of all just shake out again, just if there's any excess tension anywhere outside of the body. So in this exercise, what we're going to do is we're going to breathe, imagine that the breath's coming up from the earth. It collects, and this is the yin, that energy that's coming up is the yin of the earth. So you can imagine like a cooling, calming energy coming up. The breath will be coming this way, energy from the earth comes this way. And then what we do is as we breathe out, we not only just breathe out and relax this area, but we also keep our awareness of the ground and direct our energy downwards as we connect back down into the earth. And that kind of will supercharge the effect of the of the relaxation, because it will stop the tendency for the body to go up like this. Okay, so let's try it. We're going to do 5 breaths again, and we're going to do it from the earth. So you take it nice and easy, and we'll just see what that feels like. Okay, keeping kidney 1 open, keeping nice and relaxed. We're going to float the head up, and we're going to open up the armpits just to get the Qi going down the arms. Are you ready? So now we need to take a moment and rescan our bodies internally and pick either the same place, if you want to do more work on that, or another place. For me, it's shifted. I definitely shifted things with that first breathing exercise. I'm going into a second place now. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring, as we breathe in, we imagine the yin, or the yin quality, cooling quality of the earth coming up, connecting internally with wherever it is. And as we breathe out, we send our energy down through our feet. Breath comes out. Okay, are we ready? Okay, so we're going to close our eyes. We're going to tune into that one part of the body that we want to work with internally, that we want to self-regulate. It might feel tight, it might feel painful, it might feel hot, it might feel weak, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is that makes it not fit in with your internal body landscape, we're going to pick that area and we're going to relax it and integrate it in, using the power of the earth. Ready? Okay, so opening up kidney 1, feeling our weight down onto the earth. Okay, very good. So now we're going to breathe in and we're going to imagine the earth's energy coming up, connecting with that one area. Okay, imagining that energy coming up, holding it, encompassing that area, supporting it, hold the breath, and then breathe out. Open up kidney 1 and send our energy like a root all the way down to the center of the earth. Okay, do you notice how much more powerful that is than just simply breathing into the area? So let's do a few more and just see how far we can get with that. And then we're going to support it by doing some going exercises. Okay, so here we go. We're going to breathe in, bring the energy up from the earth, open up kidney 1, relaxing the hips. Bring that energy into wherever you need to regulate internally. And then breathe out. Send that energy down through kidney 1, activating kidney 1 again, connecting with the earth. Excellent. Okay, let's just do one more of those. Breathing in through the feet. Nice and easy, nice and slow, connecting with that area you want to regulate, that you want to work on, and breathing out. Okay, excellent, brilliant. Well done, everyone. That's really good. Okay, so now we can do some more supporting work with that. We started to really regulate the internal landscape internally. We've done it 2 ways. First of all is breathing in, breathing a long exhalation out, and releasing or regulating the area as we do so. And then we supercharge it with our favorite point, kidney 1, by bringing that, imagining that earth's energy coming up and sending it down at the end of the breath. And what that does is it tends to balance out the tendency of our energy to go up if we feel stressed or if this message is coming from here. So that's a really useful thing to do. The rest of the session, I'd like to focus in on the diaphragm, because the diaphragm, being able to easily expand that down is really important to allow the breath to sink down as low as possible. So let's start off by working on the diaphragm, and then we'll connect up the breath between the upper and lower parts of the body. What tends to obstruct the diaphragm more than anything else is the liver channel, liver and gallbladder channel, which run down the side of the body. So what I'd like us to do first of all is just check to see whether there's any discomfort at all when we press in here. So I'm just pressing in around the diaphragm. Just notice if there's any areas where it feels a little bit uncomfortable or obstructed. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll use some tapping on the gallbladder and liver channels and some twisting exercise to free that up. And then we'll go back to the breath and we'll do some more connecting breathing up and down. Okay, so here we go. We're just going to do some tapping here. We're tapping around the diaphragm and up through the liver, up here. And we go down. Gallbladder channel, this is right down the sides of the body. Then up the inside of the body here, inside the legs. Okay, that's the liver channel. Up to here and back up to the diaphragm again. Round to the sides, make sure you get right into the hips here. Down the outside of the legs. Up the inside. And then back up to the diaphragm again. Okay, let's just do one more loop round. So we've got this whole area here. Down the outside. Okay, up to the diaphragm. Okay, very good. A little bit of a shake. Checking in on the diaphragm again. Okay, and now we're going to rotate here. Just do this nice simple rotation. All the time breathing into this part here. Breathing out and releasing. Okay, excellent. Okay, excellent. So now we're going to just check again, see what that feels like. Should feel more open now that we've done some of that work on the channels. And this should allow us to bring the breathing down deeper by releasing the diaphragm as we breathe in. This comes down as we breathe in, and it kind of relaxes and goes back up as we breathe out. So the lower dantian breathing is the best way of targeting that. So placing our hands over the lower dantian. What we're doing is we're checking to make sure that our belly goes out here. We need it to go out because what happens is the diaphragm goes down and takes up some of the space in the abdominal cavity, and that kind of like presses everything out this way. Okay, so we would expect this to come out with the diaphragm breathing. So checking internally here, relaxing, and let's supercharge it by bringing our attention down into kidney 1, relaxing the hips, feeling the lower dantian, and we're going to breathe in. This should come out this way. Okay, we're going to hold it, tuning into the diaphragm again. Slowly breathing out. Okay, so we're focusing in on that sensation of the diaphragm moving down. You'll feel it by the stomach, by the lower abdomen, particularly coming outwards as the diaphragm expands. So let's try it again, breathing in. And breathing out. Relaxing here. Okay, breathing in. And breathing out. Okay, great. So we've done regular breathing, tuning into the internal landscape. We've done supercharging it with kidney 1 and using the yin of the earth to lower energy down as we breathe out. And we've released the diaphragm. 3 really important things to regulating our internal environment and keeping our ability to self-regulate under different situations. So that leaves us now, we've done this area internally. So let's work a little bit on the upper part of the body. And that brings us to point of the week, okay? So we're on the small intestine channel now. The heart channel, if you remember, runs from the armpit down into the little finger, and that connects with the radial artery, and it connects directly into the heart organ. The heart rate and the regularity of the heartbeat is obviously closely related to the emotional state. You can feel your heart beating when you get excited or or fearful. So that's a really important regulating thing. This is the yin channel. When we get to here, the yang channel is the small intestine channel, and that channel helps protect the heart. It goes up, right up into the head. And so it's used for treating the hand, the head, but it also has a connection with the whole back, and it's actually used for treating the lower back, in fact, back in general. And you might want to know why. Well, partly it's because it connects with the governing vessel, those of you who are Shiatsu practitioners, but also because it's similar to the bladder channel that runs down the whole back. It's in the same division as the bladder channel, and that's why it's used for treating the back as well. And I've got a poll in a minute when we all press point of the week, and we're going to figure out which effect it has on you. Because it either can affect locally the hand, it can affect the head, the back, but it also has a connecting with the heart channel, and it tends to calm the spirits. So let's just do some simple stretches and go in for the yin channels of the upper burner. So we're going to stretch the lungs channel and breathe in. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to connect it with our diaphragmatic breathing. So as we breathe out, sink our energy down into kidney 1. Keeping our awareness low in the body, breathing in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Okay, excellent. So now we go this way, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. This is the pericardium channel. And then the heart channel. Hands in prayer position, open the armpit, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. One more, breathing in, keeping the elbows open, opening up the armpit, breathing out. Okay, brilliant. So now let's do some Shiatsu on the, some tapping on the heart channel, and then we'll get to point of the week and we'll see what happens, okay? So we can either, if you're feeling a little bit vulnerable on this channel, you can always just squeeze it down here and just use your thumb to press down towards the little finger. If you want a little bit more stimulation, you can very gently tapping it here down into the little finger, and that's when we come round and we get to the small intestine channel. So we can tap that up this way into the shoulder. It goes around the back of the shoulder here and then up into the neck like this. Go around. We're just going to go around 3 times just to open up the heart and small intestine channel, and then we can use point of the week and see what happens. Okay, so here we go. Underneath here again, tapping or squeezing down the heart channel, nice and lightly here. It's heart 3 and heart 7. We did this last month, and then we go round. And this is the small intestine channel, the one that protects the heart. It's the yang channel. It goes up into the head, into the back of the shoulders, and then up, and then round. Okay, so this is the circuit that we've got in the last 2 months, the heart and the small intestine. Believe it or not, we're halfway through our epic journey around the meridians of the 24-hour cycle. Yep, there are 12 meridians. Each one has like a 2-hour slot in the whole system. Okay, now that's really good. That should have opened up. Let's just check out and see how that's done. Just going to relax the shoulders. Very powerful channels for releasing the head and also for regulating the upper heater. So let's just shake out a little bit. Okay, open up the armpit, Relax the jaw, very important for the small intestine channel. Feel the neck. Feel that tingly feeling from the little finger all the way out into here, and that's the small intestine channel we've activated. And let's just finish that off by that activation off by linking the hands like this, or you can just press with your fingertips. And we're just going to press to the outside of the SCM muscle. I'll just show you where that is. You see this muscle here, this big muscle here, just on the back, the rear of that, along here. That's where the small intestine channel runs. It kind of connects up from the shoulders and goes into the jaw. Okay, we won't worry too much about the exact location. We're just going to link the fingers together and squeeze outside back of the neck. Excellent. Okay, relax the jaw. Shaking out the shoulders, feeling the little finger, stretching the little finger out. Just see if we've opened up that channel enough. I think we have. I think it's time for point of the week. Okay, now I've got a special poll Basti and I fixed up just before the webinar, just before the exercise class today. So we've got a special poll ready for this. Let's just make sure I've got it all ready. And I'm going to show you where it is. It's called Backstream. I've got my book out, my images and functions book. This is where we are between 1 and 3 in the afternoon. Remember, it's to do with the fire element, and we did small intestine 1 last week, and here we are. This week is small intestine 3, and it's called the backstream point. It's partly because it affects the back, but also because it's where the spring of the meridian opens up and it becomes more of a stream. Now you see that it can affect the head and neck. It can affect the lower back. It can calm the shen, but also, which I haven't put there, it can also affect just the local, which is used for the wrist and the hand as well, so you can probably imagine, okay? So I'll just show you where it is. I mean, that diagram is probably better than I can show you on my own body, but basically if you go here and you feel this bone here, it's right in this little indentation right here, okay? But what we're going to do is we're going to use interoception, and we're going to see if we can suss out where what happens when we press it. Okay. Now, what the options are, you're either going to feel it more in your back. You're either going to feel it in your hand, obviously. You may feel it in your hand, or if you tune in, you may feel it in your head if you need that more. You may feel it down your back. You may feel generally calm, or you may feel a combination of those things. So let's find out. Very useful point. So let's see if we can make the most of it by just really relaxing, tuning internally. We're going to open up our armpits to open up the small intestine and the heart channel. And we're going to just use this finger here. Just use this finger here, this first finger, and I'm just getting hold of my hand a bit so that I can get hold of it, and I'm going to be pressing in like that, and you press just right into and underneath the joint, and you'll feel a sensation. You probably feel a sensation up the channel into the shoulder and into the head possibly, but let's just see. Okay, so we're going to relax, open up the armpit, tuning into small intestine 3, tuning internally. And now I'm going to just gently press it. And I'm tuning into my head, my back, my hand, and also just seeing whether it has a general calming effect or not. Okay, so it's hand, head, back, and is it calming or not? Does it have more of a calming effect? Okay, I'm going to shake out. We'll do the one on the other hand. So I'm just going to hold it again with this fingertip in here, right in here. Relaxing. Tuning in internally, gently pressing in. Where are you feeling it? In the hand, the head and neck, anywhere in your back, or do you feel it as a general calming point? Or maybe a combination of all of them. So I'm going to share that now. Here we are. You might find a combination. So here it is. You felt it in your hand, felt it in your head, back, felt more calm, or felt more than one of the above. So let's just see where you felt it. And it all depends on where you most need it, of course. There's no right answer or anything like that. It's just a question of what you most need. Okay, look at that. Interestingly, most of the biggest majority of a single effect was just a general calming effect. Well, that's an interesting indication there of what you need. And over half felt it in more than one place, which is exactly what happened to me. I felt it in my hand, but also mainly in my head. I did feel a little bit of a calming influence, but it was mainly I think I probably need my head drained by the small intestine channel. So you'll feel the action depending on entirely what your body needs. Okay, so there we are, point of the week. Great, so we've got 10 minutes left just to put everything together. We've done a really internal session today. Hopefully you're feeling a lot calmer and a lot more regulated inside. So let's just finish off with some integrating work and put it all together. And we'll be ready to face the week ahead until next Wednesday. Here we are. Okay, so we've done a lot of work internally. We've made sure that we've got the diaphragm released for breathing. We've used the energy of the kidney energy from the earth to help us regulate the internal environment by combining it with the breath. We've also released the diaphragm using the twisting and using the gallbladder channels. We've opened up the channels in the upper heater, and we've experienced small intestine 3 in various parts of our body, and particularly effective for calming the body down, and that's the connection with the heart meridian. So we've done a lot of work already, tuning in and regulating everything. So let's just use the yang channels now to put everything together, and then we'll do final breathing, and then we'll be all set for the week ahead. So we're going to rub our hands together. And we're going to do some work just calming the eyes. We're going to place our hands over our palms, right over the eyes. Relaxing the eyes, we're going to breathe into the eyeballs, breathing in. Slow exhalation, relaxing the eyes. Okay. Again, breathing in. Breathe out, relaxing the eyes. Okay, breathing in. And breathing out, relaxing the eyes. Okay, let's work around the sides of the head. This is the gallbladder and the triple heater channels. Just squeezing either side of the head, opening those channels up, and then squeezing down the sides and the back of the neck. Okay, tapping the shoulders. Where the gallbladder and the triple heater channel runs, and then just tapping down the arms, the hands. This is down the yang channels, the triple heater, and the gallbladder channels. Just going to do it 3 times both sides. A bit more up here, I think. That's it. And now bring the shoulders up, breathing in, breathing out, releasing down. Okay, so that's the sides of the head. Now we can do the back of the head. This is the bladder channel. We're going to tap over the top of the head and then down the back of the neck. This is the bladder channel, squeezing down. And this channel goes all the way down the back, right the way down to the feet. This is one of the most difficult places to get to, isn't it? Right at the top of the back. I'm just about getting to it here. If you're with someone else, you've got the advantage because you can do each other, just using the loose fists or the sides of the hands, releasing this area here at the top of the thoracic spine. Okay, we go down as far as we can and then pick it up as high as we can here. Take it down into the hips. Okay, and then we can tap down the outside, down the back of the legs, down to the feet. This is the bladder channel. Usually what I do is I usually turn my hands round this way, just tapping this. All the while we can just release the back as well if you're doing that, if you can do that. Just tapping down and brushing off. Okay, excellent. So that's activated the bladder channel all the way down. And so that's the back of the head, sides of the head, and now just to finish off, we're just in the front of the head. So we can just wipe the forehead like this by holding the hands on the forehead and turning the head. This is a nice way of doing that. And then down, squeezing the sinuses, relaxing the jaw and squeezing around the ears. Okay, I'm just pressing around all these points, stomach 3, these points, I don't know if you remember them from previous Wednesday classes, but there's all these points along the sinuses here. Good for clearing out any sinus blockages. And then we're nearly done. We're just going to stretch down here, squeezing the SCM muscle. And then tapping down front of the body and down the stomach channel, and this is the front yang channel in the legs all the way down to the feet, which is going downwards just to provide some grounding and just to release, activate the channels. Okay, and then brushing off. Okay, so let's clear the head using every channel out to the hands and the feet. So we've regulated the internal part of the body and cleared all the yang channels. So we should be super ready for the week ahead. So let's just put it all together with some straightforward Tai Chi breathing, where we can put everything together because we're going to open up kidney 1, connect down into the earth, float the head up. Okay, and you can see now how this Tai Chi breathing is great general self-regulating technique, because what we do is we connect with the earth, we sink our energy down to the earth, we breathe in, bring the arms up, okay, we breathe out and we bring our hands down. What that encourages is it encourages the whole internal space to move downwards and regulate and not go up like this. Okay, so we're going to breathe in. Breathe out, connecting with the earth again, keeping the head floating up. Brilliant. Okay, just a couple more. Breathing in and breathing out. And one more. Okay, and there we are, the end of the class. So what I recommend that we do, all of us, in the week ahead is if you do find things are getting too much for you, there's 3 things you can do, or we can all do, which is check internally, use the breathing to breathe out, a long exhalation, releasing any areas that need releasing. If that's not enough, use the power of the earth, use kidney 1. You can just tap it or just open it up with your mind, bring that energy up, and that will help, again, regulate the internal environment. And if you're still having problems with breathing, I suggest you work on the diaphragm, get that released, and that will help the strength of the belly breathing or the abdominal breathing, which again will help regulate the internal environment. And what that means is it will send messages up to our brain telling us that things are safe, that everything is going to be fine. So there we are. Okay. Slightly different emphasis this class, Basti. I hope everyone
with a lot of love coming from that. That's really great.
Okay, that's
And
fantastic. Yeah.
there was one question which maybe
Yeah,
could
go
be
on.
brought to the next session, which was
Okay, what's it?
how do we find out more about the interoception? Are there any books or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's tons of stuff that's just emerging actually. New energy work members. That's a very good question. How does a long out breath affect people with low blood pressure? That's a very good point actually, because you may want to even the breath up. If everything is too hypo, you may want to regulate the breath so that even, and that's like a whole subject in itself. But general stress releasing, we use a longer out breath because it regulates the sympathetic nervous system. The book that I'm reading at the moment is the Anil Seth book. That's kind of like neuroscience, quite advanced neuroscience.
Okay.
I tell you what, though, I tell you a really good place to look, and that's Cindy Engel's blog. Look up Cindy Engels. I'm just going to put that in the. Look up Cindy Engels. She's one of the New Energy Work guest speakers. If you look her up, she's got her own website. You'll find her on Google, no problem. Look in her blogs. I was reading just one the other day that linked with the Harvard Medical School, and that's got a lot of stuff on interoception and how to regulate your internal environment. In fact, reading that last night kind of inspired me to change the class. It's not just that, it's also because some of the polls we just had in the last few weeks have really seriously indicated that there's a lot of internal regulation required. So I thought we'd make it a little bit more internal, slow it down a bit, and really go a little bit deeper in. Okay, so yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Agnieszka.
Yeah, Agnieszka, yeah, that's it. That's the out breath. And then this one, yeah, look up Cindy Engel. And in fact, she's going to be doing a special thing on new energy work for us in the autumn. I've been in touch with her lately, so she'll be on the show soon. Okay, thanks a lot, Basti.
Excellent.
Yeah, great. Have a great week, everyone, and see you next time.